like
one of the other side to that is there is like the employment situation in Oklahoma. It is really good. There's a lot of employment there.
Right.
I'm looking more the viewpoint of multifamily. I've never been to single family there.
Right.
Those are still actually at a fairly low point. They're picked up for a pretty good rate, and they are cash flowing really well. Whether or not those follow the housing prices out there, they should, because there's a lot of jobs coming into those areas. But it's worth looking into different parts of the country. Alabama, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Kansas.
Wasn't there a guy that actually had come up with a software program? He was tracking prices of homes just the same way they track prices of stock. And he had a software program that was running and following the highs and lows of the different real estate markets. I know I read about that not that long ago.
Is it crunching.com? K-R-U-N-C-H?
But there's a couple of people I know for a fact. There was one guy that went and took all the data for the past like 10, 15 years and backtracked his software to see how it was working, and he actually does price points, predicts price points, you know, at this point, sell, because the market's turning. Just the way some of these stock software programs work. They track the trend, and they make predictions on the previous trends, and some of them are pretty accurate. This guy I wish the heck I'll try to get it for the next time.
one place, that Policy Map, is a place that does what you're talking about.
Yeah,
okay.
but it's $200 a month.
But it's $200 a month. So, you know, that's why we're here as networking. If we go out there and do some Googling or whatever, find who you're talking about, and say, yeah, that's the guy, then we need to send them an email out. And you guys can email the Santa Barbara Yahoo group, and that will fan out to everybody, and everybody will get your email and say, oh, this is the guy, in case you're interested. So, you know, if any of us find it, you know, let's get back and let everybody know. Okay?
Yeah, there's actually a really good one that I like. It's called housingpredictor.com. It's free. Those guys are on it.
Really? One good predictor is the person who cuts your hair, the taxi drivers. Everybody's talking about buying real estate in town. That's not the time to sell. So,
Yeah, and
also
also
everybody's, you know,
right. And also employment. Employment is the big predictor. If employment is going up, then things are happening and industry's picking up. If employment's going down, then you know.
Just the trick is to be able to get it before employment actually does go up. You've got job announcements rather than the actual jobs. That's kind of good.
And you can make money in any one of those cycles, as long as you know what cycle you're in. See, the problem that Curtis and Sidney Squire had, which we've all had, and we'll all continue to have until we get it straight, is that if you don't do the right kind of investing strategy at the right part of the cycle, it's foreclosure time. Game's over. You're done. And so you really need to know, well, what cycle are we in this town, and what strategy do I need to be doing if I'm going to do something in this town? And even California is so big, there's different things within California. For instance, let's take a look at a duplex I had out in Isla Vista.
Just one second.
Sure.
Matt, what was that?
Housingpredictor.com.
So even in Santa Barbara, we've got different rates. I mean, I sold this duplex that I had for about 25, 30 years about a year ago. Okay? Now look what's happening out in Isla Vista. Now this might be an anomaly. I'm kind of thinking what probably happened was a couple of duplexes on Del Playa sold, and because Del Playa is on the beach, they sell for a lot more than any other duplexes in Isla Vista, and so it drove that thing up, is what I'm thinking. So if we watch this for a few more months, if it comes back down, that's probably what happened. If it keeps coming up, well, the other thing might be happening. And what it looked like to me was Isla Vista prices started falling before prices in Santa Barbara. Okay, and that's why I chose to sell this first. Besides, I just want to get rid of the duplex and the headaches. It's at the end of its 27-year cycle for being able to depreciate, and I was either go out and do a 1031 tax deferred exchange, or just pay the taxes, which I chose to do, and go back out and buy more property someplace else, which I chose to do out of state with things that cash flow, so that I could have no mortgage payments, not have to worry about that, and get 3 times the income, because no high-priced market cash flows. All high-priced markets are good for one thing only. Gaining equity as it's going up, and if you don't get in when it's down and get out at the top, then you go into foreclosure when it starts coming back down again. So, you know, if you're going to play the game of getting in and out, you better watch the cycle and get in and out at the right time. If you're going to stay in there for 30 years, it doesn't really much matter, because you just make it through the cycles if you make it. Okay? So yeah, this we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if that's the beginning of what we'll see in Santa Barbara. Right now, if you look at Santa Barbara, it's still going down 4,000, and we're talking this month, today. Okay? So, you know, I'm not in a big hurry to sell this. All I want to do is be able to hang on to it for another 5 years until it comes back a little bit. Now that's this is a lot of work doing this real estate investing in properties, okay? Let's take a look at what we're looking at. The expenses from holding rentals. You've got taxes. You've got insurance. You've got mortgage payments. And people go, well, yeah, mortgage payments are great. You get a write-off at the end of the year for paying all those mortgage payments. Well, you know what? I'd much rather have a write-off from dumping money into the house, fixing it up, adding value to it so I can raise the rent or raise the price of selling the house, than to just be writing off mortgage payments. Especially if the market starts going down and my rents won't cover it and I go into foreclosure. We've got an investor that's part of this club right now that has 6 properties, bought them at the peak, none of them are cash flowing, he's losing all of them, they're all going into foreclosure, and he may lose his house too, and he and his wife are both working full time and still can't make it. That's how dangerous this game can be when they tell you, oh, you know, all you have to do is put down 20% and you can cash flow $300 a month. $300 a month isn't enough to keep you out of a problem. You know, you have one heater that costs $3,000, there's your $300 a month gone, like that. And you're going to have vacancies. You know, rehab, when you first buy the property, is going to cost you $5,000 to $15,000 at the purchase point just to clean it up and get into it. Seal and I are dealing with properties out in Tennessee, and the turnover there is really bad. In fact, if you're in a depressed market with a lot of foreclosures and you buy a foreclosed property, the best thing going, as quick as you can, is to get into a property with Section 8, so you have a continual income coming in, a guaranteed rent, you know, that they're not going to be turning over constantly. The worst, highest crime rate right now is Detroit, Michigan, and the second highest crime rate is Memphis, Tennessee. Seal and I are there. We know it well. I've had 2 AC units stolen from one of my properties in a period of about 4 months, $1,000 a piece. You can't go to the insurance company because it's $1,000 deductible. What's that going to do you? Vacancies, what happens is as soon as they move out, you know, then it takes 2 months, 3 months to get somebody back in there, and you've got all this cleanup to do. And you know, this whole thing about 12-month lease contracts, well, it's good for the tenant because they feel like they were not going to be able to raise their rent in 12 months because they got a signed contract. But for you as a landlord, 12-month lease, it could be month to month, it doesn't matter. The moment they want to get out of that lease, they're gone.
Yeah.
They're gone with the refrigerator, they're gone with whatever. And if you want to try and get money out of them, good luck, because they don't have any money to get out of them, you know.
Yeah, I've done a lot of my Ventura properties. I've done pretty well just going month to month with them.
Right.
Because if they want to stay, they're going to stay.
Yeah, the best way.
And if you want to get if they're month to month, it's not, you'll find out in the first year if they're a problem tenant or not. It's 30 days notice if they're month to month, 60 days notice if they're.
Do you increase the deposit requirement amount if it's month to month versus on a?
Do I increase it?
Yeah.
It's. I mean, with the property I have down there, it's it's off of Ventura Avenue, so it's hard to increase it too much. Most people just can't pay that much.